Alright, hello and welcome to round number 1 of the League of Legacy that we had on, what was that, I think Saturday the 24th. We had a lot of Legacy events this past month. Thank you to all the stores that put on Saturday, Sunday events, and pretty good prizes as well. Looks like our players, Sejeong and Jungha, are keeping these hands, and Sejeong will lead on an either vial, which is getting forced. He should know exactly what this matchup is from that first card. Oh no. So he kept a 6 with no land, scryed to the bottom, and then bricked. You know, I've seen this player keep a 0-lander before. I think I like turn 1 on the draw when he didn't play anything. I like thought seized him, opened up his hand, and saw that. I mean, it was quite good, but Food Chain is really kind of a grindy deck. I mean, I understand he doesn't want a mulligan, but that game was painful. Even if he had landed, if he had found a duel off the top, it was just going to get wasted. I could understand if he really wanted to keep a hand with a Force, a Manipulate Fate, a couple of maybe like Ponder, Deathrite or something, but he really needed to find a fetch for basic Island in order to stay alive in that game. I mean, Sejeong's just gonna waste and port you anyway. I don't think you can keep a 1-lander regardless, and especially definitely not a 0-lander there. He's got the turn 1 vial again, and this time it will resolve. This matchup is one that is going to make swords pretty bad. Death right there on the table is probably the best target for it. I think Jungha could also try to land an early large walking ballista and really just gun down the creatures. It also has the benefit of being colorless, so it can get in under Mother of Runes, which doesn't do anything. And now, with only like 3 minutes of game time, we're already into the mid game of game 2. And Leopold is quite good in this matchup also. I really like it against port decks. He also makes Jite seem really embarrassing sometimes. Okay. Gives Sword of Fire and Ice a read there. And Food Chain really doesn't deal with too much removal. I mean, it's probably got 2 to 3 copies of Abrupt Decay, but besides that, he's not all that focused on killing the little creatures. He just wants to advance his mana, advance his game plan, find himself a food chain, and go off before he's taxed too far by land denial and Athalia. Two cards back, and he found a fetch. He's tanking pretty hard here. Oh, that's fantastic. So not only does he have a shuffle effect, I wouldn't be surprised to see him just, draw 3 cards. There's an upside down Caracas. I'm not sure what the significance of it being upside down is. Maybe it's staring directly at the Leopold. So Stoneforge is active. The Ether Vial never flashed in a mom, so we have to assume that there is not one. But the Caracas is going to cause problems here because most likely Athalia is going to be like invincible. Alright, so here's a nice draw 4. Manipulate Fate will go get Eternal Scourge and probably 2 Griffins. So 1 more Griffin. Alright, cool. I'm not a food chain pilot, but as soon as Eternal Scourge was spoiled, people started putting a 1 of in the list. I understand it, but somehow I feel like it's just not as good as Griffin. So when people almost always manipulate Fate for 2 Griffin and a Scourge now, I'm like, why not just another Griffin, man? It flies. Jungha will now look at a fresh 3 cards with his Sylvan Library next turn. And it takes up to 3. No Thalia present. There's a Flicker Wisp. Targeting anything on this board seems pretty bad. He apparently has not found a sword for Leovold. So now Food Chain is cut off until Sanctum Prelate is dealt with. Is there any other 3-mana spell that that Food Chain really cares about? He's protecting his life total very seriously here. I don't think I would be. I think I would be trying to churn through my deck a little bit better. This draw, like, he's not even getting attacked. And he's protected from Wasteland by the way that he fetched and the Leovold, of course. And I from Jungha's position, I'd have to be wondering what exactly is in my opponent's hand. Like, what is Sejeong holding? If it's not creatures that flash in from the vial, and it's apparently not removal. I don't know. Neither player is actually doing anything. Yeah. Now who will flick Stonewave Mist Stoneforge? Alright, so you still have to draw for the Baleful Strix. Yeah, you just drew.
아니 방금 받은 거 아니야? 이거 들어 하나 받을게요 하시고 나서 네. 그래서 안 받으셨어요?
You just drew from that Baleful Strix. Oh no! Did I see that right? Did he just draw 2 cards off a Baleful Strix? I don't actually, honestly, I don't really even know how that happened because no game actions even took place after, like, he targets the Flicker Wisp. He's like, oh, okay. He draws a card. He puts a Tropical Island on the table, and then he's like, oh, I have to draw a card. Like, what? Yeah, mistakes happen. So he uses Stoneforge main phase because he wants to get in there and get some G-Take counters. He had to use the Stoneforge because he didn't want to cast it and get it forced. I also feel like the death rates should probably be clocking better than they are right now. But really with a Jite out, nothing really matters except getting that Jite taken care of. So now he goes ahead and pays 4 life. He's going to get a little bit deeper into his deck. And play a Jite of his own. So Leovold gets frisky here. He's getting through, like there's no... Yeah. So I understand wanting to attack with the Jite equipped Leovold, but I mean... The Jite is never going to connect if it's sitting on top of a legendary creature. We gotta keep drawing cards. We gotta find an Abrupt Decay. I mean, I guess that's a reasonable choice of a flicker. You don't want to flicker the Baleful Strix, etc. You don't want to flicker... Let's see, the GTA and the Sylvan Library don't matter, so maybe... Why not flicker Stoneforge Mystic? I mean, unless you took battles... Unless you took whatever it's called. You took a Batterskull out? Maybe he doesn't have any equipment left. The GTA is going to make quick work of the food chain deck, honestly. It's going to require a lot of cards to get him out of this. We'll extract a tiny bit of value out of this Deathrite Shaman before he bites the dust. And, well, that's cute, I guess. That probably never feels good. That probably feels good. No, Signum Prelate is too strong for that. So now the GT can't be activated, and the Flicker Wisp is no longer a concern. Dread of Night is always where you want to start if you're going to try to kill a Death and Taxes player. Ooh. Oh, poor mom. There we go. Okay, so walking ballista here will get rid of the rest of the two little dudes. And or maybe he doesn't feel very threatened, so he doesn't have to do anything except find food chain. But it looks like Sejeong here won't actually even require him to find the kill. He's just really far behind and wants to quit. So we shuffle back up. And we cut it because I'm tired of watching the shuffling. Wonder, do Death and Taxes players ever have a clean answer to Dread of Night? Like they must see it often enough. Is it worth a disenchant? Like I feel like I don't actually see my Dread of Nights ever getting disenchanted. I see it get flickered sometimes so that they can take advantage of a creature during the interim. Deathrite Shaman gets named. And we've got another fetch instead of a duel, so Jungha, these matches really, well, except for the first one, these games he has managed to be able to not get affected by Wasteland whatsoever. I was going to say when he made his second land drop, if it was just like a naked Underground Sea, those types of draws can get really problematic. You can't use your Deathrite Shaman, you've only got like one basic, it doesn't even cast Ponder, you get wasted off your duel. But Deathrite is alive again, he generates a mana immediately, so that he can look a little bit deeper into his deck. And with no one drop out of Sejeong, the food chain player must feel pretty good about the beginning here. And it appears that Sejeong either didn't have the Thalia or elected to cast the Phyrexian Revoker first. Like he really, like one, he doesn't want Thalia to die, so he wants the Caracas protection, and two, he really needed that Phyrexian Revoker out before the Thalia. Obviously hoping that it sticks around. I think I see another Thalia in hand, and they are mismatched, and that is not okay. Boom. Is that a food chain? Oh. Engineered Plague. Let's take bets on what it's naming. So we're gonna rescue Thalia, but she's gonna be stranded in Sejeong's hand, possibly forever. Okay, well the soldiers are a little weaker now, but they're still going to be present.
들어갈게요. 기디언이요.
네.
Pithing Needle. And we'll name Gideon, I suppose.
네.
And here's part 1 of Food Chain's plan. All we need now is an actual food chain. Sejeong's draws. This is going to be really rough. I mean, he's stuck on just a 1/1, and
휴먼이 아니에요.
와, 기사 동맹인데 휴먼이 아니야.
stuck on a 1/1. At least one Thalia. I'm pretty sure it's 2 stuck in the hand, and then every other X1 that he draws from this point out are completely dead.
하세요. 네.
넣을게요.
네.
어떻게?
Got another 1/1.
네.
하세요. 기대
Canonist
늪이요.
actually completely stops Food Chain, huh?
들어갈게요. 자, 페인스톤이요.
There's your 1 spell for the turn, and we're on an 8-turn clock.
네, 하세요.
들어갈게요.
네.
아니 얘는 휴먼이에요.
아, 휴먼이에요.
얘는 휴먼이에요. 아,
아,
디펙트
네.
크리처인데 휴먼이에요.
네.
나올게요.
네.
Oh wait, is she stronger than I thought? Is she not a human? What is she? Either sworn. Yeah, she's a human.
하세요. 기대 늪이요.
She's a cleric.
들어갈게요.
네.
So although this clock was really bad, finding a piece of equipment to speed it up.
네.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's your spell for the turn again. He's getting a little inconvenienced by a port. And since he lost the death right, it's going to be even harder. Maybe just make your 1 land drop a turn.
하세요.
들어오세요.
네.
Maybe use this polluted delta to clear the top of your deck and hope for a really good draw.
세대.
하세요. 기대
I think tapping down that island again is pretty good.
늪이요.
네.
하세요.
He elects for the swamp this time, and I can't imagine he wants to draw. His hand didn't seem that good,
들어갈게요.
네.
so he keeps it. He pauses for a second. I have to wonder. I have to wonder if that's the pause of, didn't I just see this? Oh shit. I forgot to shuffle this. Alright, so now he has stopped himself from being able to find a black source. So what happens if we land Food Chain here? We hardcast Food Chain and then pass the turn because we can't cast another creature. Can't do anything. So Sejeong knows that it's only 1 turn before we start just having an unending stream of illusory creatures.
아, 병신 스콜이구나. 아,
Oh, no, actually, with that second port, it's unlikely that he'll ever be able to cast anything now.
8점. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6에다 5면 2점 쓸 거라서 총 8점 맞으시면 이 자체는 6점.
That's a fast clock. Jungha was almost there, man. Either Sworn Canonist is just wrecking this dude's day.
멍청이. 내가 왜 그랬지? 일단은
들어갈게요. 듀에 듀.
하실 때 잠시만요.
네.
Oh boy.
멍청이. 모두 마이너스. 잠시만요.
Ooh,
네, 마이너스.
spice. Everything dies.
죽어요?
네, 아니요. 멍청하게.
But not an. He can't. Wait, what?
늑이 어떻게 되어 있다고
He's conceding to the Sword of Fire Knight.